Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Monkey Wrench. I'm Kelly, the monkey with the wrench. Today, we're going to be working on another project. It's been, I don't know, 4 or 5 days since my last video for you, and about 45 minutes since my last video for me. So, as stated, we're going to be working on this John Deere here. It's got a 15.5 horse Briggs in it. Which is, I don't know, there's different markings on it. The hood says 15.5, the dash says 13 horse. Who knows what's even inside it? It's a 13 horse. Yeah, and that's not a Briggs, that's a Kohler. So there we go. But that's the good thing about these old tractors. Different parts fit from different things, and you never know what's going on. So if you haven't noticed, I am catching up on my videos here. I moved. It's now February, and I had to move in December, right at New Year's. And it's taken me a couple of weeks to get a few things settled out. I'm in the process of painting the house here. All the blue has been redone, and actually the back of the house is now finished. There's a little bit of touch up here and there. But all that's been repainted. I'm repainting the entire house, putting new shutters on. We're going to pick up shutters this evening. We got a new pool for her. That's what's in that box right there. That cardboard box is the new pool, because the old one is, well, it's pretty well shot. So next week, after I'm finished painting the house, we're going to do some TikTok viral video where I'm going to take a sword and stab that pool and cut it open and see if the water kicks my legs out from under me. And then we're going to be re-leveling the ground, installing the new pool. And if you haven't seen my other videos or my shorts, I put up all new stockade fence here. Basically, I've been redoing the whole property for her. Her husband is no longer with us. He passed about a year ago, and I've just been helping her out as much as I can, doing as much of the stuff that needed to be done for a long time. There's a lot more work to be done here, but as you can see, I'm here. I'm happy with everything. I want to say thanks to Miss K. We'll just leave it at that. Well, she's been a friend of mine for a long time, and this is just working out. So until I find a shop, I am still working here and trying to keep my customers happy. And I'm going to be cutting grass a lot this year. So the problem that we're having with this particular machine, he told me he cut with it a couple of weeks ago, and he had to, the battery was partially dead, and he had to spray it with some carb cleaner, and he got it to start and run, and he drove it around and cut the grass. Then he came back out a couple of days ago, and he went to do the same thing, and even with the carb cleaner, he could not get it to start. Now, if you watch the channel, sometime last year, early last year, I actually replaced and redid the charging system on this to teach you how to check your charging ring and all that good stuff. But I think there's still a draw going on somewhere. He could have left the key on. He could have damaged the battery because the alternator was intermittently charging and it was going off the charts. Could have fried the battery. The batteries just get old. You know, it could be a lot of things. The battery looks like he bought it. Oh, well, that battery's new. 11 November of 22. So it's new battery. So we might have to go through this thing and figure out what's going on with the charging system. But I think more than anything, I've charged the battery. I'm going to make sure that it runs. We're going to give it back to him, and then we're going to see if the battery keeps dying. Then we might go through it and try to figure out what's drawing out of the battery or what's going on. But I am going to check the charging system today before I give it back to him. But for the first thing we're going to do is exactly what he did and what he said. I'm going to hit the key. Battery's charged. See if it'll start. Oh, good. So I'm going to fix the camera, and I'm going to pull off the air filter. Now, I cheated. I already did this. And what I found, first off, is that this outer portion of the filter is rotted. The whole filter is filled with crap, and this was wet when I originally pulled it out. Moisture there will screw everything up. So we're going to put that to the side, and we're going to shoot it with a little bit of carb cleaner and hit the key and make sure it's going to start. Make sure we don't have any issues as far as compression or any electrical issues we don't know about. Let's just do it the easy way. So we know that it starts and it runs. He said he tried with this and he couldn't even get it to start. There could be water in the carburetor, could be a fuel pump gone bad. We're going to figure that out here real quick. Okay, so we definitely have a fuel delivery issue. I don't know if the carburetor's clogged. I don't know what's in the bowl of the carburetor. But as you can see, I kept it running by spraying carb cleaner right into the carburetor intake. And it was enough to keep it going. Now this thing is full of gas. So the next thing I'm going to do is grab a 10mm wrench. And I'm going to take off the carburetor bowl here. And we're going to see what the bowl looks like. Silly me, it's not 10 mil, it's a 1/2 inch. So let's just pull this bowl and see what this bowl looks like. Now, of course, it's full of fuel. Let me see if I have something to stick underneath of it. I want to see if there's any water in there. So I'm going to pause you, get a bowl, and I'm going to go ahead and empty it. So while we're at it, got a clean bowl. Just want to catch the liquid that's in it. I'm curious if there's any water in there, or just what kind of dirt's in there. If you watch my channel, I don't normally just take the bowl off the bottom of the carburetor. I always take the carburetor off completely, but in this case I wanted to see what was in there, and I'll tell you why. First of all, there's so little, there's not even enough in there to puddle at the bottom of the bowl. I have a feeling, and I'm not sure obviously, but I have a feeling that it's possibly that it's not getting any fuel. In other words, that the fuel pump is not working. And it's one of those days where nothing wants to work right. Oh, wait a minute. Haha. Let's see if you can see that. That is all mud and muck in there. Look at that. That's pure muck and mud. Well, that's why this thing's not running. Those jets are clogged. That is just nasty in there. I've seen it before. I flushed the tank on this last year. People put in dirty fuel. The engine's running, and they still put fuel in it while the motor's running. Could have been dirt inside of the gas can, whatever. But there wasn't enough fuel in this bowl to even wet the bottom. And the few drops that came out barely wet the platform underneath. So there was zero fuel in that carburetor. And the carburetor is full of gunk. That could be the inside of fuel pump actually too. Could be that something in the fuel pump went bad. That's It's not dirt because it's staying in crystal form like sand. It's not just crushing and turning into mud. I'm not sure. The first thing I want to do now is I'm going to pause you and clean up my hands, and I'm going to hit the key, and if the fuel pump is working, fuel should start coming out of the bottom of that thing. So when I went to wash my hands, I smelled them, and the little bit of liquid that was in there was the overshooting of so much carb cleaner that it pulled up in the bottom of the carburetor. That's what liquid came out. There's no liquid coming out at all. My guess is right now, if I hit that with that bowl off, our float is in the down position, which means the needle is in the down position, which means if there's fuel going through, it should come right out of that carburetor. So I'm going to turn the key, and we're going to see if any fuel is coming out of the bottom of that thing. Watch it and tell me what's going on, will you? Yeah, fuel should have been coming out of there. There is... I saw a drip. There's a little hose right here. It goes to a metal hose, which doesn't really move too good, and the bottom of the carburetor. So I'm going to take that off. That is our fuel line coming in. I'm going to pop that off real quick, and then we're going to do that same test and see if we're getting fuel out of that fuel pump, and I don't think we are. Alright, now I'm going to hit the key and see if we're getting any fuel. All I did was disconnect that line. Yeah, we're not getting any fuel at all. So my guess, off the top of my head, is that all the stuff that's inside of that bowl could be the inner workings of the fuel pump, which in this case is a mechanical fuel pump. We have plenty of fuel. You can see it's right up at the top. So she's not getting any fuel, and that's kind of what I thought when I talked to him about it. But he did say that he was able to start it and keep it running, and I can only keep it running when I'm spraying it with fuel. This is your fuel pump right here. The fuel gets drawn out of the tank, comes through this filter. So a couple things I'm going to check real quick off camera. I'm going to pull this out, see if that's clogged. I'm going to pull the top off of here and see if it's pumping and see what I can figure out, and then I'll give you an idea when we're done. Okay. So I went ahead and I disconnected here, and as soon as I did, the fuel started going because the fuel in the tank is higher than this line. So I pulled this apart and the fuel is clearly coming out. So this is not our problem. Then I pulled this off. This is the connection tube from the top of the fuel pump to the line that goes across the top of the motor and down to the carburetor. These are always a pain in the butt, and I may just replace that with one full piece of line. I don't know yet. His oil fill here is not connected at all, so I'm probably going to fix that for him. But when I hit the key, there should be fuel pumping right out of the top of this, and, well, see for yourself. There's nothing. Nothing at all. His fuel pump is shot, and that may be the innards of that fuel pump that went into that carburetor. So he's going to need a new fuel pump, which I'm going to have to look up for him now and get a price. And in the very least, I'm going to have to clean that carburetor. Now, I think I should be able to clean that out, which means remove it from the machine, clean it, put it back together, because he did just run this machine 2 weeks ago. But that fuel pump is not working at all. So I have no idea. My guess is he's going to fix it. He always fixes it. It's his father's machine. He's got a connection with his dad now that his dad has passed. but you never know. I have no idea how much that fuel pump's going to run these days with the crazy pricing that's going on. And I'm pretty sure we'll end up fixing it. So I'm going to post this video as is for Chuck. And in the meantime, I'll get the prices for the parts, speak to him, and if he wants it fixed, then I will fix it, film it, and show it to you guys. And if not, now you know how to diagnose. The only reason that I went as far as the fuel pump is concerned was because before I even started filming, now I've been doing this a long time, and what he was talking to me about, how he couldn't get it to start, you know, that could easily be a carburetor issue, but I had it in my mind right off the bat that it was a fuel pump problem. These mechanical fuel pumps fail all the time. I can even take that off, put a plate on there and seal it, and put an external pump on there if you know, some people like to do that. It means hooking up a breather hose and all this other stuff, so we're not going to do that. I would think that these fuel pumps are going to be under 50 bucks, but we'll find out. But I had a feeling, just from the way it sounded, the way he told me about it, and the way it was acting, that it was a fuel pump issue. And now we know that the bottom of the fuel pump's getting plenty of fuel and it's not pumping it through to the top, and that's our problem, because when we sprayed the carburetor over and over with carb cleaner, we were able to keep it running. So it was definitely a fuel issue and a carburetor dirty issue. But anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out this long. If you're still here, hit the like button. It's somewhere between my chin and my balls. Subscribe on the way out the door, tell a friend, and we'll see you on the next one.